What's up, guys? This is BC Builds. Just showing you it's not really update how to make a clipcord. There's multiple ways to do so. Good ways, bad ways, ways that are good for a quick fix. But the first time I ever made a clipcord, it looked like this. You can see here. This spring is actually a door spring. It's meant to keep a swinging screen door shut. I bought that for like $2. Big long spring. It was like 1.5 feet. The actual posts are needle bars, pieces of plastic, and then just bolts. This is all pretty self-explanatory. If you can't figure out how to build this, you're an idiot. But that is really heavy. Just listen to it drop. It's just really heavy. It's a lot of tension. Up until the cable broke on this, I use this all the time for shading because I shade pretty fast. But this never came popped off. Ever, 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 ever. This has got a lot of tension. More tension than you actually need. And that fell on the floor. Because I was tired of clipcords breaking and whatnot, I actually went out and I converted everything to these little phono jacks. First I tried RCA, and it doesn't matter what kind of RCA cable I used. I bought some from Monster Point, Element, Icon. I bought like 10 of them, and they'd all eventually vibrate themselves off. I think the problem with RCA cords is they don't rotate. Here's an end. Here's one of the connections. And this is the one with the cutouts in it. It's meant to be a tighter fit. The fact is when you're moving your tattoo machine, it's in all different angles. And the RCA clipcord is not meant to twist with it. You know? And when it does twist, it kind of loosens it, and the vibrations help pop it off. You know? Some connections I had never had a problem with, and some would just fall off. Given I liked RCA better than the standard clipcord, but even still, I wasn't a big fan, because even standard clipcords will rotate, they'll move, give you a little more freedom without it popping off. But ultimately I went out and I looked for new jacks at Radio Shack, and I came across, it's basically a headphone jack, a little phono jack. And as you can see from the other machines, I already showed you this. I built it into the side of this one, or you could do it the same way you do RCAs. You know, I used to actually, for my other machines, I used the same quarters that I used for my RCAs. I just took the RCA bits off. I got an example, just in case you guys didn't watch the last video. See here, it's the same quarter that I had the RCA on. It fit with the little phono jack. The best part about the phono jack is that it actually clicks. You know, locks into place, not super tight, just tight enough, but it rotates. So when you're turning the machine, it's not rotating and pulling itself out. It rotates with it. See, I'm holding it in place and still turning the machine. And you can hear it. It clicks in. So these are the best option. These are my favorite. This is what I started converting all my machines to. I actually ran out of phono jacks because I only have 3 or 4 machines that I use on a daily basis. One fucking, well, 2 workhorse irons, infinite irons, and one was, I think made by Tony Urbanek, I can't remember. Those are my main runners. Those are all converted. But all my secondary machines that I use, the ones I have at home and some of the other ones I have at work, I started converting all of them to the mini jack. I just ran out of jacks. I didn't buy enough. I didn't think I was going to convert all my machines, you know, well, all the ones I actually use, because I have about 104 now, which is kind of overkill. I collect them. But anyways, I went out, and for the machines that I don't have the mini jacks on, I wanted a good clipcord. I was tired of making shitty ones and buying shitty ones. So I went out and I went on the Workhorse Iron site, and I bought one made by Al Brodier, or whatever his name is. And it's the best clipcord I've ever used. Advertised as the world's best clipcord, and I agree with them. But it's $50. I didn't want to spend, you know, I need 2. You know, I always want one backup. You know, or just another one, even though most of mine are phono jack now. I wanted 2. But instead of buying another one, I went out and built one. I just cut the shrink tube off of his clip cord, and I looked at it, and it took me 30 seconds to see how it was made. It's rather fucking simple. Basically, it uses these copper lugs. Bring it a little closer, which have a screw, so you can put a wire or the needle bar through and tighten it down. And basically, even on his machine, it's a piece of plastic instead of spring. A flexible plastic. He's using different plastic that has a little more tension. This is all I had around the house to show you guys. So basically what I did is I just used wire nuts. You can see here, there's a screw that goes through the bottom of the plastic. And then you put the copper lug on, and then the wire. You use a solder lug. And then you put that at the wire, and then you put a nut to tighten it down. Mine, I'm not using brass or copper screws because it really doesn't matter, because the wire lug sits right on the copper lug, so the electricity is just going to go right through. And then I put shrink wrap over. And then you bend. These are just needle bars. I use new needle bars. I know people that use their old needles, which I don't care as long as you sterilize them. Because I know people that'll just collect all their old needles and make clip cords out of them, but they don't sterilize them, and that's just serious cross-contamination. So I use new ones. I'm not even going to count. There's probably about 150 5RL in that drawer. Then I have a box of 2,000 or 3,000 sitting at my house, because that's the least used size needle I use. If I'm going to do small, I usually use a 3 or a single needle, or for a lot of my basic works I use a 7 or a 9. So I don't really use 5s. So basically I just open them and use them as fucking clip cords. But this is such a super simple thing to make. Find a piece of flexible plastic, cut it to the tension you want, bend the needle bars like this so the copper lugs don't have to come too close to each other. It really doesn't matter if you just put shrink wrap over the whole thing. Red shrink wrap for positive, black for negative, even though it doesn't really matter all that much. Your machine, whatever. I'm not going to get into all that, the science of it. This is just speaker cable. I actually bought this, a whole roll of it, it's 18 gauge for I think like $8 at Walmart. It's not the best speaker wire. It wasn't intended for clip cords. I needed it to rewire my speaker system in my room, and I didn't want to spend a lot of money on cable. So this wire will snap eventually. It was really just a temporary thing. But what I recommend is Kicker Flex Wire. It's a speaker brand. It's the best wire. It's not going to snap. It's got a silicone wrap on it, so it's super flexible. It doesn't fucking tangle. That's what I use in all the car audio in my cars. That's pretty much what I use, is Kicker Flex Wire, and it makes awesome clip cords. Then I went to Radio Shack and I bought a phono jack on the end. You don't need the gold-plated one. I tested it. It doesn't really make a difference. You could just use the standard ones. This was like $5 and it was a waste of money. When you're looking for some serious sound quality, this is intended for a guitar or a PA system. The gold-plated is better. You're going to get a clearer sound. But when you're just pumping electricity through to something, these standard ones work just fine. There's not a big enough difference to go out and buy the gold ones for clip cords. It just doesn't make enough difference. Given this is a thin piece of plastic and doesn't have enough tension, but I will show you guys. It does work. It's actually my tubes coming loose before the clip cord. See, even with a very little tension, a shitty piece of plastic, I need new plastic, it works. But this is the same, the components are different, but it's the same idea as the Workhorse Irons clip cord. I recommend using thicker plastic. They do on their clip cords, and it's a little more tension, it's a little better. This is just because all I had on me, and I didn't really feel like going to the store and buying some. But this whole clip cord cost me under $10. I actually made 3 of them for about $15-20. So I got basically 3 of these clip cords for less than half of what I paid for my one, and it's the same thing. They don't use needle bars. It's the same kind of metal, but actually I don't know if they use needle bars. Probably not. They probably have round stock, because it's a production thing. But it's the same copper lugs. Theirs has 16 gauge wire. I think this is 18, so this is a little thinner. They have better cables on theirs, or better wire. But like I said, go out and buy a roll of Kicker wire. You can get a shit ton of it for about $100, and that's enough to make like 50 clip cords. These solder lugs here are $1.34 for 2 of them. And you can buy a pack of these, I think like 3 or 4 of them for like $3 or $4, you know, so say they're $1 a piece, you know, so $3 for the end and the lugs. You get free needle bars and the cables, so you can make 10 clip cords for the price you pay of one workhorse irons and get the same quality. You know, given I haven't used this exact one yet, I just finished making it. I have made 4 or 5 of these, and I use these more than I use my workhorse because they're actually a little lighter, and I've never had a problem. Any questions, guys? Feel free. Any criticism, you want me to change something on it, I'm always open for criticism. Let me know. I gotta go.